Hi everyone, I'm Rachel May Smith of The Crafted Life, and I have a project to share with you today that I'm so excited about. I've been working on this piece for about 2 months and it's finally done. And if you couldn't tell, it is this hutch. So my husband and I live in Brooklyn and we're in a brownstone that was built in 1846. There isn't a lot of storage space in our kitchen. It's primarily dedicated to my snacks, so I needed a place to put our dishes and other odds and ends, which is how we decided on a hutch. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we found a piece on Facebook Marketplace for free and gave it a colorful makeover that will be in our home for years to come. So here's how I did it. So we found this hutch on Facebook Marketplace for free. It had been sitting in someone's garage, so yes, there were spider eggs all over it, and yes, I made my husband clean those. Before I could do any of the fun makeover work, I needed to prep the surface. I started by removing the doors, the shelves, the backing, and the hardware so that I could paint and clean each piece individually. Any surface imperfections were fixed with wood filler. I wanted to save the original top cabinet hardware, so I did a test patch with Brasso to see if it would polish up. It ended up polishing better than I expected, as you can kind of see here. And then here's the before and after, where you can see the difference side by side. I used 120 grit sandpaper and used a hand sander for the larger, smoother surfaces like the sides and the doors. Then I sanded by hand for the detailed areas. This really helps your paint to stick to your surface, so don't skip this step. Because paint won't stick to an unclean surface, I went in with a paintbrush to get rid of dust particles. But as you can see here, the hutch was super dusty. I mean, I think you can even see my fingerprints here. There was sawdust all over it. I decided to save a little bit of time by using an air compressor, and this just helped me dust the surface very quickly. But I went over everything with a cloth at the end just to make sure no dust was left. When I tell you I'm in love with this primer, I mean I would fully marry this primer. It's the bin primer and is my go-to for large furniture projects. It works on a lot of different types of surfaces, but it goes on smooth, dries quickly, and really helps the paint stick. I used both the roller and a brush to get in all the areas and details of the hutch, then let it sit overnight to dry fully. After a quick sand and clean of the surface in the morning, it was time for the best part, the paint. For the color, I went with Amazon Moss from Benjamin Moore. It's bright in the can, but it dries a rich and beautiful green. Let's talk about application. You can use a brush or a roller, but for the smoothest finish, I used a compressor-mounted spray gun. This helps the paint glide on the surface. It got into those hard-to-reach curves and areas, and then there were no brush strokes when it dried. It will take an extra coat for coverage, but the end result is so nice. After going back in for a second coat, I sealed the entire piece with polyacrylic. For a smooth finish, roll on a thin layer of polyacrylic. Go back over the area with a foam brush using long brush strokes from top to bottom, and be sure to work quickly. This will get rid of any unwanted air bubbles. Now that the hutch was painted and sealed, I wanted to add a bit of pattern to the back with wallpaper. I applied a thin layer of the wallpaper paste to the back surface, laid down the wallpaper, and then went over everything with a smoothing tool. The paper, by the way, is from Rifle Paper Company and it is so pretty. Once the paper dried, I gave it about 2 days. I trimmed all of the excess paper around the edge with an X-Acto knife. Once it was all removed, it was then time to tack on the back of the hutch, and look at it, oh my god! It's so good, and you can even see the gold reflection. For the final touch, the bottom cabinets needed new hardware. I ended up choosing the flower knob because it matched the flower on the hutch perfectly. So I put those into place, I loaded in all of my dishes, and then that was it. The hutch was done. Oh my god, it was so much work, but I really think it was worth it. It's such a beautiful and fun, colorful piece for our living room. It also helps my dishes feel that much more special having them on display. I would highly recommend check your thrift stores, look around, get yourself a hutch. All right, so that is the Hutch Makeover. If you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe. Stay around a while. There's gonna be so many colorful DIYs and I can't wait to share them with you. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.